There's a hotel room in Denver that's always occupied, room 214. The front desk will never book it for you. They'll tell you it's under renovation, or it has plumbing issues. But if you walk past it at 3 a.m., you'll see light under the door, and you'll hear someone typing on a typewriter, that same rhythmic clicking, every single night, for the past 40 years. Tonight, I'm going to tell you what happens when someone finally opens that door. Turn off your lights. This won't take long, but it will stay with you. Let's begin. Welcome back to another bedtime horror story. I'm your host, and tonight we're talking about the Grandview Hotel, a mid-sized hotel in downtown Denver. Nothing fancy. Business travelers, budget tourists, the kind of place you'd book for a conference and forget about a week later. Except people don't forget about the Grandview. Specifically, they don't forget about the second floor, about the hallway that always feels too long, about the room at the very end, room 214. This story was told to me by multiple sources, hotel employees, guests, and one person who actually stayed in that room, or tried to. Her name was Claire Sanderson, and what she experienced in 2018 changed her completely. But to understand Claire's story, I need to tell you about the hotel's history first, about what happened in 1982, about the writer who checked in and never checked out. The writer 1 o'clock to 3:30. Thomas Garrett's last chapter. In October 1982, a man named Thomas Garrett checked into the Grandview Hotel, room 214. He was a writer, mid-40s, some moderate success, a few published novels. Nothing that made him famous, but enough to pay the bills. He told the front desk he needed solitude. He was on a deadline. His publisher wanted a manuscript in 3 weeks. He'd stay in the room, work. Don't disturb him unless absolutely necessary. The hotel staff obliged. Thomas ordered room service twice a day. Left his tray outside the door. Rarely interacted with anyone. But guests on the second floor started complaining about the noise, that constant typing. Click, 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 click. All day, all night. The typewriter never stopped. Some guests reported hearing it at 4 a.m. At sunrise during the afternoon, the typing never ceased. One guest, an elderly woman in room 212, complained that she could hear him talking to himself through the walls, having conversations, arguments, with someone who never responded. She said it sounded like he was pleading, begging someone to stop. But there was never another voice. Just Thomas and the typing. 3 weeks passed, the deadline came and went. Thomas didn't check out. The hotel tried calling his room. No answer. They knocked. Nothing. Finally, after a week of silence, and yes, the typing had stopped, they used a master key and opened the door. Why? Thomas was sitting at the desk, slumped over his typewriter. Dead. Heart attack, the coroner said. Probably days earlier. But here's the disturbing part. The manuscript he'd been working on was still in the typewriter. 1,247 pages. Single-spaced. The hotel manager flipped through it out of morbid curiosity before the police arrived. Every page was the same sentence, repeated thousands of times. The room will not let me leave the room, will not let me leave the room, will not let me leave. Over and over. 1,247 pages, the manager told the police. They documented it, took the manuscript as evidence, but it disappeared from the evidence room 3 months later. No explanation, no record of where it went. The detective assigned to the case, a guy named Bill Kowalski, said the pages gave him headaches. That reading them made him feel trapped, like the walls were closing in. Thomas's body was removed. The room was cleaned, repainted, new furniture, new everything. But the hotel couldn't book room 214 after that, because guests who stayed there, the few brave ones, would check out within hours. They all said the same thing. They could hear typing, that same click, click, click rhythm coming from inside the walls, and they felt watched, like someone was standing behind them, always behind them, just out of sight. After 6 months of refunds and complaints, the hotel stopped booking room 214. It's been officially vacant since 1983, 40 years, but the room is always occupied. Claire's mistake, the booking error. Claire Sanderson was in Denver for a work conference. May 2018, she booked the Grandview online. Cheap rate, good location, standard corporate travel. When she checked in, the front desk clerk looked nervous. Asked if she could switch to a different room. Third floor, complimentary upgrade. Claire was tired. Long flight. She just wanted to get to her room. She said no, she'd stick with her original booking. The clerk's face went pale. She excused herself, got the manager. The manager came out, smiling but strained, and offered Claire a significant discount to move rooms. Claire got suspicious. Thought maybe there was something wrong with the room. Bed bugs, mold. Something they weren't disclosing. She's a lawyer. She knows when people are hiding something. She insisted on her original room. Said if there was a problem, she'd report them to the health department. The manager gave up, handed her a key card. Room 214, said very carefully, "If you experience any issues, call the front desk immediately. We'll move you." No questions asked. Claire thought she'd won. Got to her room, second floor, end of the hall, long hallway. She counted her steps without thinking about it. 73 steps from the elevator to her door. That stuck with her. 73 seemed like a lot. The room looked normal. Queen bed, desk, TV, small bathroom. Nothing unusual, except it was cold. Really cold, like the AC was blasting. But the thermostat was off. She tried turning on the heat. Nothing happened. The room stayed freezing. She unpacked, ordered room service, ate dinner. Around 9 p.m. she decided to get some work done. She sat at the desk, opened her laptop, and that's when she heard it. Typing, not from her laptop, from somewhere in the room. The sound of a typewriter, mechanical, rhythmic, click, 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 click. Claire looked around. No typewriter, obviously, but the sound was clear, close, like it was right next to her. She stood up, walked around the room. The sound moved, always behind her. When she faced the bed, the typing came from behind the desk. When she turned to the desk, it came from near the bathroom. Always just out of sight, always behind her. She called the front desk. They answered immediately, like they'd been waiting. "We'll send someone up to move you right now." 5 minutes later, a staff member was at her door with a new key card. Room 318, third floor. They helped her move her luggage. Didn't charge her a cent. The staff member, a young guy, maybe 20, said quietly as they walked to the elevator, "Don't come back to the second floor. Don't walk down that hallway, especially not at night." Claire asked why. He just shook his head. "People who stay in 214 have bad dreams. Really bad dreams. About being trapped. About writing the same thing over and over. About someone standing behind them. And the dreams don't stop when you leave. They follow you home." Section 3. The dream, 7 o'clock to 9:30. What follows you home? Claire thought she was fine. New room, normal room, warm, quiet. She slept well that first night, but the second night, the dream started. She was back in room 214, sitting at the desk, but now there was a typewriter in front of her. Old, heavy, black metal. And she was typing, her hands moving on their own. She couldn't stop them. She looked at the page rolling out of the typewriter. The same sentence, over and over. "The room will not let me leave." In the dream, she tried to stand. Couldn't. Her body wouldn't obey. She was stuck in the chair, and she felt someone behind her. Standing, breathing. She could feel their breath on her neck, cold breath. She tried to turn around. Couldn't. Her head wouldn't move, but she could hear them. Whispering. The same sentence she was typing, speaking it in rhythm with the keys, over and over. A man's voice, desperate, terrified. She woke up screaming, 3:14 a.m. Her hands were cramping, like she'd actually been typing for hours. She looked at her laptop on the desk across the room. It was open. The screen was on. She got up, walked over. Her hands were shaking. On the screen was a Word document. She hadn't opened it, but it was full. Pages and pages of text. She scrolled up to the beginning. Her blood went cold. "The room will not let me leave," typed thousands of times. She checked the document properties, created at 3:14 a.m., 2 minutes ago, while she was asleep. She deleted it, shut the laptop, didn't sleep the rest of the night. The dreams continued every night for 2 weeks after she returned home to Seattle. Same dream, same desk, same typewriter, same presence behind her. But each night the presence got closer. She could feel hands on her shoulders, heavy hands, pressing down, holding her in the chair. And the voice was clearer, not just whispering, speaking, saying more than just that one sentence. Help me finish. Help me finish the story. I can't leave until it's done. Help me finish. Claire went to a doctor, then a therapist. She was diagnosed with acute stress disorder, prescribed medication. It didn't help. The dreams persisted. She stopped sleeping in her bedroom, slept on the couch, then in her car, anywhere but near a desk, near anything she could type on. One night, 3 weeks after Denver, she woke up in her car at 4 a.m. She'd driven in her sleep. She was parked outside a library, public library in downtown Seattle. The doors were locked, but she had an overwhelming compulsion to get inside, to find a computer, to finish typing, to complete whatever Thomas Garrett had started 40 years ago. She drove herself to a psychiatric hospital, checked herself in, told them everything. They kept her for 72 hours. Observation. The dreams stopped while she was there. No desk, no computer, no way to type. She felt relief for the first time in weeks. But the day she was discharged, driving home, she heard it again, from her car radio. Even though the radio was off, that typing, click, 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 and the voice, calm now, patient. You stayed in the room, now the room stays with you. Claire still lives in Seattle. I spoke with her last month. She's learned to manage it. She doesn't own a computer anymore, doesn't have a desk in her home, writes everything by hand. The dreams have lessened. Maybe once a month now, instead of every night. But she still hears the typing sometimes, in quiet moments, in the space between thoughts, that rhythmic clicking. A reminder. Room 214 is still occupied. The Grandview Hotel still stands. And if you ever find yourself in Denver, needing a cheap place to stay, and they offer you room 214, maybe because of a computer error, maybe because a new employee doesn't know the story, say no. Take the upgrade. Take a different hotel entirely. Because some rooms don't let you leave, even after you've checked out, even after you've gone home. They follow you, in your dreams, in your thoughts. And one day you might wake up at a desk you don't remember sitting at, typing words you don't remember writing, feeling hands on your shoulders that have been waiting 40 years for someone to help them finish their work. Thomas Garrett never finished his story, and now he's looking for someone who will. Don't let it be you. Thanks for watching. If this creeped you out, hit that like button and subscribe for more horror stories. And remember, always read the hotel reviews, especially the ones that mention typing sounds in empty rooms. Nurse, sleep tight.